everybody. Welcome back. My name is Sharon Holly and I'm a certified yoga therapist. Welcome to those of you who are new today coming into this session about yoga and the lymphatic system. And I'm really grateful to be here today to help support you in this area that sometimes we get information about and sometimes we don't. I know many of you have told me that I've worked with that the doctors didn't explain anything. So hopefully they do, and if they don't, feel free to ask, right? Ask. If you've had lymph nodes removed, it's really important to find out about your whole lymphatic system. So I'm going to give you a brief overview today and give you some things that would be helpful to do in terms of breathing and movement, and also guide you into areas and places that you can go for even more support. So the lymphatic system. The lymphatic system is one of our systems, like the circulatory system, the digestive system, and what it does is it helps to keep the flow of lymph moving through our body, and that's where the white blood cells travel. So we want to keep that flow going at all times, of course. And so when we have lymph nodes removed, that might disrupt the flow. And so what might happen is there would be swelling in the extremities. So if there are lymph nodes that are removed in the upper part of the body, that might cause swelling down the arm or in the fingers. And if it's in the lower body, then in the legs or the feet, right? So the extremities. And so what we want to do is we want to promote flow in other areas. And I often think, well, this was described to me from someone who I was working with, that it's like the freeway. And I guess because we're in Los Angeles, we think about the freeway system. And that if there's a stoppage or a block or, for some reason we can't go anywhere, what are we going to do? We're going to try to veer our way off the freeway and find another path. And so that's what we're doing with our lymphatic system. We're helping it to find another path. Now there are some great techniques called one's MLD, the manual lymphatic drainage, which a physical therapist can do for you. They can also teach you how to do one for yourself. So I invite you to look into that if it's not something that you're already aware of. Now, the other thing is wearing a compression garment, okay? So what that does is it helps to squeeze the system so that the flow keeps moving, right? So we've got lots of different fluids in our body and water and blood and the lymph, and so that will help to keep that flow moving. Now, if you have lymphedema, then you're probably familiar with what I'm talking about. If you don't, just use this as an education, and again, feel free to ask questions of your medical providers, okay? So for those of you who do have lymphedema, they do recommend a compression garment at certain times. So you can wear it during these movements. We're not going to do anything too strenuous, but that makes you feel comfortable, and I think it's important to do so, okay? Now, the movements we want to stay away from, for those of you who are yogis and have done yoga before, we're not going to be doing anything that's going to put pressure on our arms or our hands or our shoulders. So no down dogs for today, no headstands or handstands or shoulder stands, those kind of things. We just don't want to put pressure on that part of the body. Now, I'm not saying that they're off limits forever, but for the purposes of what I'm teaching today, we're definitely not going to do those. And again, this is where maybe talking, to a provider or you can always ask me questions, right? Because I work individually with people. We talked a little bit about that yesterday, right? Yoga therapy. But here I'm doing a group class and I'm just going to talk for everybody. So I want to make sure to be inclusive, okay? So those are the things we're not going to do. Other things in your daily life that you might want to be aware of, not doing any really heavy lifting where there's like a pull on the arm, pressure, putting things on the shoulder of the affected side. So even if you don't have lymphedema and you have a side that has been where the lymph nodes have been removed, just be cautious on that side. If you get a cut, make sure to put on some Neosporin and put a Band-Aid on, get it clean, keep it clean, and just be mindful of that side. We're talking about mindfulness, right? So be mindful, be aware, be gentle, and if you're traveling and you have like a big heavy bag, let someone help you, let someone carry it for you, right? Upward movement is what we want, okay? So we want to think about moving the lymph, and I'm holding my little notes here to make sure that I cover everything, but I'm going to put that down for a moment and think about, right, we want flow moving away from the extremities. So how can we do that in a way that's easeful? Because the other thing that can affect our lymphatic system is stress. And so we know that this is a period of time. There's a lot of stress in the world, a lot of stress internally for whatever we individually have going on in our systems on a day-to-day basis. So whenever we can come back to calm and to our breath, that's going to help our lymphatic system, that's going to help our nervous system, and of course our immune system, which is really important to keep at its optimum right now. Okay, so I'm going to take one more peek at my notes now before we go into the practice that I have planned for us today. Oh, I know what I wanted to say. So the circulatory system has a pump, right? It has our heart that pumps the blood through our body. The lymphatic system does not have a pump, so we get to provide that by breathing and by moving. We are our lymphatic system pump, okay? So the deep diaphragmatic breathing we're going to do today, that's helpful. And so any movement that you can do, again, I'm going to show you, what those are. Now there's a lot of information out there. I did some researching. I wanted to just see, there are some research studies about yoga and the lymphatic system and lymphedema and all that. And, there's just a lot of information. And I think mostly what I saw, it doesn't, sometimes it will improve, sometimes it stays the same. It doesn't harm the lymphatic system. So that's the good news, right? And it all depends on when you're coming to this practice and where you are, if you have lymphedema or if you haven't had it. But, it cannot hurt your system. That's the bottom line if you do it in a safe way that I'm going to talk to you about today. So there are lots of, again, examples out there and different ways to do different yoga poses and stuff. But I want to keep this really simple so that anybody can do it. And some of you may have done yoga before, some may have not. And so just thinking about when can I, raising my arms, raising my legs if it's in your lower body. I'm going to focus a little more on the upper body today. But how can I create a flow away from extremities? That's the bottom line, in a gentle way. Okay, I think I've said that a couple of times, but can't help to repeat it. So, we want to do anything that we do, we want to do in a gentle, pain-free range of motion. We've been talking about that. Staying within your comfort zone, okay? And so some of you may be still recovering from surgeries, and so some of these movements may not be fully accessible to you yet. So do what you can. I'm going to give some modifications throughout. Okay. I know also, the lymphatic system fights infection, and the lymph gets filtered before it goes back into the bloodstream. Okay. So also when we have lymphedema, it can reduce the oxygen getting to the rest of our body. So we want to, again, keep that flow moving. And so just little tidbits here. I think that covers everything that I was going to do. Oh, and also that thinking of this as an integrative practice, right? This yoga is not an alternative, it's not instead of something else, but it's complementary and integrative. So doing it with whatever else that you're doing, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and start our practice. Again, I keep standing because I am sitting so much in my day, but you're welcome to stand or sit, okay? I'm gonna show you some of the things we're gonna do today in a chair as well. So if that's more comfortable for you, feel free. So we're gonna begin with just a little bit of breath, okay? So if it's comfortable, you can close the eyes or find a soft gaze. And we're just gonna begin to notice the breath moving in and out of your body, right? So maybe in through the nose and out through the nose, or in through the nose and out through the mouth, remembering whichever is best for you. So just begin to observe that flow of your breath. Noticing if it feels easeful. We want to find a smooth, easeful breath. And maybe bringing a hand to your belly and hand to your chest if that feels comfortable. And what we're going to do is we're going to begin to observe the belly and the chest rise on the inhale and gently fall on the exhale. Okay. What we're doing here is we're going to move into a little what we call diaphragmatic breathing, or three-part breathing. And so you're going to gently feel, as you inhale, feel the abdomen rise and then the rib cage rise and then the chest rise up here into your hand. And as you exhale, the chest is going to release, the rib cage is going to release, and the abdominal is going to release, right? So it's this flow from the bottom up and then from the top back down. And if that feels like too much for you, just feel the chest and the belly rise on the inhale and contract on the exhale, right? So just feel the breath move in the way that feels comfortable for you. If you like the 3-part breathing, again, on the inhale, it's the belly first, then the ribs, then the chest. On the exhale, the chest and the ribs and the belly. And so what we're doing is we're creating space for the diaphragm, which is a dome-shaped muscle that sits right here. And when we inhale, we're expanding in the belly because the lungs are filling up with breath. The diaphragm is moving down, okay? And as we exhale, the diaphragm moves back up, back into its place as the belly pulls in. Okay, so that's our diaphragmatic breathing. That's our pump. We're pumping our lymphatic system, okay, in that way. So again, if you're finding this is weird, you're not sure, just do the best you can. Just breathe. That's the bottom line. Breathe, okay? So if your hands are placed on your chest and your belly, we're going to relax them by your side. And now we're going to add on just a little bit of movement as you inhale, expanding the fingers out, opening out the palms, and as you exhale, curling the fingers, making fists. And again, inhale, expand, and exhale, fists, just like that. Inhale, expand, exhale, curl. So a couple more of those at your own pace, okay? So we're beginning to bring that idea of pumping and flow into the body. And then relax. So if you're finding that any of this is causing tension in your body, in your shoulders, in your arms, in your neck, then just take a pause, right? We want to find ease in the body, most important. Okay, and so where we find lymph, by the way, in our body, oftentimes, so in the neck area, in the armpit, in the groin, those are a few of the places I'm thinking about right now. I know there's some more. And so I'm thinking about the neck area. And many of us do tend to find that we have tension in our shoulders and our neck. So I'm going to go ahead and just begin to do just a little massage. I'm going to take one hand and cross it over and just gently massage my neck, maybe finding areas where I feel some tightness and knots, and just be gentle, maybe pressing fingers like you're pressing the keys of a piano, right? And again, only if this feels good. This might be difficult if you've had surgery, so just be in mind, bear mind to do what feels best for you, okay? Some people might have one of those massage things. You can do that a little bit. And we're going to take the hand. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to look away from my hand, and then I'm going to sweep it towards that shoulder. And I'm going to do that a few times with an exhale. One more time. And then relax that hand down and just notice. Feel that flow moving in. Feel a little bit of tingling going on. And notice how that side might feel different from the other. Right? So we do a little bit of movement and then we pause. Now we're going to go ahead and do the other side. So just a little squeeze. Right? Waking up the muscles, starting to call fluid up to the tissue a little bit here. We're working with our fascia. Right? This is the part of our body that it's like encompasses all of the muscles, all of our tendons. It's part of our, I like to think of it as a bodysuit. And it gets dehydrated, it gets dried out. So we're going to go ahead now. I'm going to look away again. I'm going to sweep my hand 3 times. And then go ahead and come back. And just check in. Notice how that feels in this moment. Let the flow go through the body. And then I'm going to go ahead and turn my neck from side to side and just notice range of motion. Sometimes I do that before. I forgot to do a little before and after. We'll do that. But you'll still be able to notice here as you turn from side to side. Now that we've brought a little bit of blood flow in, notice mobility in your neck, range of motion. If there's tightness, remember, stay in pain-free range of motion, only where it feels okay for you. Then from here, I'm going to tilt my chin towards chest, come back up, and then towards the ceiling. Come back down, and again, chin towards the chest, and back up. And now reaching ear towards the shoulder, and then half circle to the other side, and again. So now that we've called fluid up to the tissue, we're just kind of moving it around, right? Listen to your body, moving our cervical spine. Making our way back to center. We're going to roll the shoulders forward, up, and back. So this is a little technique that can be done all the time, and it's starting to get that flow moving, right? And for the lymphatic system, we have different quadrants in our body, okay? So we're working on the upper quadrant. We're trying to get the fluid into the thoracic duct, which is in the center of our body. So that's why we're trying to move everything in. It's the thoracic duct where it flows through. That's again where the lymph flows out. It gets the toxins out of our body, right? And then it returns back into our system. And so that's a very simplistic way of looking at it. Feel free to read up more on that. So from here, now that we've moved a little bit, we're going to go ahead and move our arms. So maybe bringing the palms together. Inhale, open out through the heart. So notice how my elbows are bent here, right? But my hands are raised. So thinking about flow moving down. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale, okay? And then maybe relax the arms back down by your sides. Take a moment, I want to check in and see if your neck, if there's any difference or change in your range of motion after we did those neck movements. Maybe there is, maybe there isn't. Roll those shoulders, we can't do this enough in our day. I'm gonna go ahead and separate feet, and we're gonna do a little side bend, right? So thinking about here, squeezing into our body, lifting up, right? So maybe this is where you are today, right? Any kind of squeezing motion will pump through our body. If your arm feels like it can extend up, perhaps extending up and over, right? Where can I bring my arms up and over? When I'm sitting, maybe watching TV, or when I'm lying in bed, where can I extend my arms up? So they're, again, creating that flow, that downward flow towards the center of the body. That's what I like to think about. Okay, find wherever your neck feels most comfortable. And coming on back to center. Roll the shoulders. You notice I do this a lot. I feel like I can't do this enough in my day. Hopefully you will bring this into your day as well if you're not already. Okay, so always have a slight bend in the knees. If you're sitting, we're just going to do just a gentle twist. Okay, so just kind of a little twist from side to side. Not doing too far. Anybody has back issues, we want to be mindful of those. Sighing out, slowing down, right? When can we slow down? I just noticed I was going a little fast. I'm going to go ahead and slow down. Take a moment and check in. Maybe close the eyes for a moment and just check in with this moment. Coming back if your eyes were closed, okay? And so just checking in, just reminding myself, right? So the abdomen is the other place we have lots of our lymph. And so the abdomen, around the throat, the underarms, the groin area. So focusing on how we can keep moving these areas, right, in a way that's supportive. So I'm going to go ahead and get my chair out to show you how we can do cat-cow. Because that's a nice one too, okay? So some of you might know cat-cow, for those who are familiar with traditional yoga, as you do that on hands and knees. We're going to do it here, supported in the chair. And so I'm going to slide my hands up towards my knees as I curl my belly. As I inhale, I'm going to slide my hands, look back up towards the ceiling. So the exhale is curling. The inhale is releasing. Right, extending, extension and flexion. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Coming back to neutral. So with all of these movements, we do them a few times, 3 or 4 times or so. We don't want to overdo it, because if we overdo something, then that actually brings that buildup back into the lymphatic system, right? So that's why we don't want to do heavy lifting, all right, any heavy weights. So it is possible to do weights over time and to build our strength back up, but especially in the beginning, depending upon where you are, we don't want to do anything that can cause the opposite effect, right? We're trying to create flow, not stagnation. So overdoing it, just remember that. I know some of us want to do more, we think more is better, and that's not the case with this, okay? So I want to show you a little bit of warrior, and for those of you who are familiar with yoga, I'm going to show you just the first side, a seated option for warrior, right? So we know warrior, we tend to extend one leg out and one in. So this is going to be our warrior 2, okay? So I'm going to do this side. I'm going to go ahead and do it in a seated position, just for a moment to show you, okay? We're going to do some movements in and out, so you just be here, and then hands back to the heart, okay? For a standing warrior, I'll move my chair out of the way. I'm going to bring it back again at the end, but for now, I'm going to come back. And so for those who are familiar with warrior, I'm going to extend the legs out to the side, turn one foot out, one foot in. I'm going to extend my arms out to the sides, gazing over my fingertips, making sure that my knee is not going past my toes, it's right over my ankle. Now, if this is too much for your shoulders, let your arms rest down, okay? If you can hold them up as long as you can. Again, this is elevating our arms, right? From here, I'm going to go ahead and inhale, bring my arms up as I straighten my front leg. As I exhale, gaze over my fingertips. And again, just like that, inhale and exhale. See how I'm pumping, arms are up overhead. Now, if this is too much for you, I'm going to show you another option, which would be as I inhale, bringing hands to the heart, okay? Actually, exhale, sorry. Exhale, hands to the heart here, and inhale, open. So it's kind of the opposite. Exhale, hands to the heart, inhale, open. Here, I'm inhaling up because I'm extending my arms up. So it's a little bit of a different movement. You can switch off. Exhale, inhale. That's not going to work, is it? I guess you could exhale here. Play with it. That's the bottom line. Be playful, okay? We're going to go ahead and pause here. Let this arm rest onto the upper thigh. Let this arm extend up, and we're going to make some circles. So we're going to go ahead and circle the arm around. So notice how I have my arm here. My elbow's a little bent. If you want to extend it more, if that feels okay, you can. If you don't have that range of motion right now, you might go ahead and bend your elbow and make some circles forward, okay? So a few circles forward, and then a few circles back. Okay, so wherever your arm feels most comfortable, and let that draw you back up into your warrior 2. Feeling strong, right? We're starting maybe to build some strength. We're going to go ahead and straighten that front knee, relax the arms, turn both feet in, roll the shoulders forward, up and back. So if you didn't guess by now, the bottom line is to let your breath flow in the way that feels comfortable for you. There's not a wrong or right way, just feel it. So when I was doing that movement, I'm like, oh wait, this feels a little restrictive, right? I feel like it's a little hard for me to breathe right now, so I change my breath. So I invite you to do that throughout. So now I'm going to go ahead and turn my toes the opposite direction. Inhale, extend the arms out, look over the fingertips. And again, check in. Which option is best for you? I'm going to start here. Inhale, straighten my knee. Exhale, bend. Notice my knee's not going past my toes, right? Inhale and exhale. It's also right in line with that second toe. I'm not going in or out, right here. Okay, and I'm going to do a couple here. As I exhale, bring my hands to my heart. Sometimes I think about what do I want to bring into my day. Inhale and exhale, right? This time I'm going to go ahead and stay extended here. Check in with my shoulders. Are they relaxed? Bend that front arm. Take the top arm and rotate it forward. I tend to do this forward rotation first. And again, if the arm feels good to extend it all the way out, extend it all the way out. But if it doesn't, pull back. Bend it a little bit, a lot. And after you've done a few times, we're going to go ahead and change the rotation, opening out wide. Looking at a place where your neck feels good, whether it's out or down. Let that draw you all the way back up. Beautiful. Looking over the fingertips, straightening that front knee, relaxing the arms down. Turning both feet in, roll the shoulders. Take a breath. Maybe close the eyes for a moment. Check in. So whether you were seated or standing, notice how you're feeling in this moment. Right? As we start to pump, as we start to move the arms overhead, we're getting a little cardio work in. So our heart might be racing a little bit here too. Our heart might be beating a little faster. So notice how you feel. Take that pause. Feel the tingling sensation of the blood and the lymph flowing through your body. Right? If your eyes are closed, we'll go ahead and open them. We're going to take a few minutes here to let that practice integrate, right? So we just did some beautiful movements for the upper body. I want to offer something for the lower body for anybody who's out there who might have had lymph nodes removed in the groin area, because then that might affect the lower body, okay? And this is great for everyone anyway, just so you know. But if you don't feel like coming down onto the ground, if that's not appropriate for you, you can do this lying in a bed. You can sit in a chair. We're just going to do a little relaxation, okay? Because that's always important after a practice. So I'm going to use my chair. I'm going to go ahead and come on down to the ground, okay? Maybe if the knees aren't comfortable, you might come this way. And elevating the legs, that's what's key, okay? For any lower body lymphedema, okay? I'm going to go ahead and, so it might be coming down this way, depending upon your body, depending upon how you move. I'm going to show you, okay? Another way might be to lie down first and then place the legs up. So what makes most sense for you? Maybe moving your body in so you feel comfortable. And then again, coming back to the hand on the belly, the hand on the chest. Now, again, even if you do not have any lower body lymphedema, this is a very wonderful relaxation technique. And putting the legs up on the wall, putting the legs up on a chair, this is a little more easeful than on the wall. Virapanakarani, I believe, if I'm saying that right, I have to, the Sanskrit word, and it means waterfall. And so what's happening here is because our feet are elevated above our heart doesn't have to work as hard. It gets to relax here. So we're relaxing the whole nervous system. And remember what I said, and the lymphatic system, of course, right? And the circulatory system. We're relaxing the whole body. And so remember, it's all connected. And how important that is to keep the flow moving easily by relaxing the system. So I invite you again, you can do this on a bed, put some pillows under your legs, find a position that feels comfortable, maybe close your eyes or find a soft gaze, maybe a hand on the belly, on the chest, maybe both hands on the belly, maybe your hands are going to be by your sides. What is most comfortable for you? And just feel that gentle flow of breath moving through your body. On the inhale, the belly and the chest rise, and on the exhale, they gently release, fall back down towards the ground, towards your spine. And as you're here, maybe imagining a beautiful waterfall. And the waterfall is flowing, right? In this case, it'd be from your feet all the way to your head, nice and easy. Imagining the flow of the waterfall, just like your lymphatic system. You've opened up so many beautiful channels here. And now you're just letting that flow move through you. Imagining the sound of the water. Noticing what colors you see around you. Maybe there's some foliage, maybe there's some beautiful flowers. Noticing the temperature of the air. Imagining where are you at this beautiful waterfall. Maybe there's somewhere you've been before. And you can just bring yourself back there in your mind's eye as you just allow the gentle flow of breath through your body. No need to do or make anything happen. Just by being here, you are supporting your whole system, your whole being. Now, if you have the time and you want to stay here, you're welcome to stay here, continuing to relax. If you prefer to begin to bring your body back upright, back into a wakeful state, maybe wiggling fingers and wiggling toes, maybe yawning or stretching the arms overhead. Just see what makes sense for you. If you have your legs elevated, you might go ahead and bring them into your chest. Maybe pause for a moment. Maybe roll to your side. Take an extra breath or two here. And perhaps press yourself up. And if you want to come back onto your chair, you might bring yourself up using the chair to support you. If you're lying down, again, you can stay right where you are. There's no reason you have to move. We're just going to bring the palms of the hands together, taking a moment of gratitude for taking this time in your day to stretch, strengthen, relax, restore your lymphatic system, your nervous system, your body, mind, and spirit, taking a sense of peace, health, and ease with you throughout the rest of your day. Namaste. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you found that supportive and helpful. If you have any questions, feel free. I know there's ways to message me in Whova, so please feel free to do that. And I hope you will join me. Their next session is going to be on Sunday, where we're doing, I'm going to be teaching yoga to help with side effects, right? The side effect from treatments and how we can support our systems. And then we're going to have a session on the nervous system on Monday, and on Tuesday, sleep. So there's lots of great stuff. Stick around, come around for Sharon later for the view, and lots of great stuff. Keep coming back, and this, of course, will be recorded, and maybe some of you are doing this with the recording. So thank you again. Namaste.